So this is how I'm going to make it work. That's the motor. You see I've cleared out all the garbage inside the Onslaught Gatling cannon, and the plan is to simply place the motor as close to the barrel as possible, slide that barrel over, and call it a day. That's all I need. So I'm keeping things simple. I'm going to align the motor to the barrel first, and once I can get that spinning without it wobbling and corkscrewing around, I'll place the motor inside there. Then that's it. I'll be soldering the plug after that, and just making sure that the motor is all nice and aligned before I do anything else. Now with my epoxy nicely cured and sanded, what I'm going to do now is find the center and place the motor inside it. So you'll see that finding the center is actually quite easy. This is already split in half. The plastic assembly already comes in two halves, so I just marked out where those two halves meet, and I found another two corresponding barrels on opposite sides, and I scored a line between the two of them as well, and where these two lines intersect, that's where my center is. Now the reason I'm going really slow, and I'm slowly rotating the barrel in my hand as well, is to make sure that the drill is entering precisely parallel to the axis of the barrel. This is so that I don't get any barrel wobble once the motor is mounted. So I do have to make sure I'm very precise and careful about this. You'll see what I'm doing here is because the counterweight is semicircular. I'm actually trying to create a semicircular hole here by hand. I'm not sure if this will work. Hopefully this is not going to ruin the effort that I've put in so far, but we'll see. I seem to have successfully created that semicircular hole. My motor seems to be aligned. I don't see any wobble when I spin this around the motor axis. Oh, it fell out. I lost it. But I think the motor and this can mate quite well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this together with super glue. Test it again for alignment, and then fill in the gaps. Once I'm done with that, then I'll align the motor to the housing. Once I'm done with that, then I'll solder the leads to my plug, and then I'll put everything together, and that should be the final time I take this apart, and that should be my successful attempt at putting the Onslaught Gatling cannon together. I think I've got it aligned, so what I'm doing next is I'm letting the super glue dry as much as I can. I've already filled in as much of the gaps as possible, and then I'm going to find a way to place this inside the housing and have that perfectly aligned as well. once I've done that, I'm pretty much on the home run. I've discovered a small peculiarity with this. It appears that when spinning at speed, centrifugal force tends to align it and tends to stabilize it. I'll show you. If I allow just gravity to hold it up and it starts to spin, it tends to stabilize, it doesn't wobble. Now if I secure the motor, I hold it tighter, it will start to wobble. So I think the plan is, what I want to do is actually have the motor held here by some kind of floating mechanism, which is probably just sponge or rubber, and have that gripped in here so that the motor has room to vibrate a little, and that should stabilize this cannon when it's spinning. I'm going to try that out right now. I'll probably use a couple of different options, some sponge initially, and then we'll see where we go from there. Alright, here's the sad truth. The sad truth is that the tolerances on G-Dubs' heavy onslaught cannon are so good that I can't match it with my table tools, because this part here, the part that I suppose in law stabilizes the spinning cannons, these keep contacting my cannon as it spins, and it stops it from spinning at full speed. I think the hard truth is that I'll probably have to cut these guys off and have this cannon out here without these things interacting with it. I think I'm going to have to cut it off, so the moment of truth is here. I'm going to just remove them and then put the cannon in, and then I have a free spin. So let's do that right now. Now, so what I've done is I've put a ring of sponge around this to have it free float. It's going to sit in the housing right there, and the plug which I soldered on is going to sit right there. If you want to see how I soldered it on, it is in a previous video. I just used the exact same method. I'm going to clamp this shut, have that free float so that it wiggles a bit, so that centrifugal force is going to center it and allow it to spin. I'm going to put everything together and then put it onto the torso and find out if it works. So here's the test. I'm going to attach this to the socket that I have. That's attached. Alright, I'm going to power it up. There we go. Happily chugging along. So, both my Dreadnought weapons, ranged weapons, are done. There's still something very finicky about the barrel that I don't like, and I'm going to have to try and fix this over time. But in concept, both these weapons work, and they're interchangeable, and I'm pretty happy with the result. Given the circumstances, I had to redo my onslaught cannon quite a few times, and given the chance to do it again, I think I could fix most of the problems right off the bat, and it would be a lot less finicky the next round if I did this. But I call this project at an end, the modular weapons work. The next task for my Dreadnought would be then to do a bit of lighting, a bit of LED work on the sarcophagus and on the searchlights around the cockpit. And that's something for the next video. So if you like this series and if you have any suggestions for future projects, please feel free to comment below. Don't forget to check out all of the links that I've placed in my description as well. Until next time, please take care.